Hello, Sukesh sir, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay, just wait for a minute, guys. We'll starting the session soon.
Hey, hello, Amit sir. How are you?
Hello, hi
Amit
Sukesh.
sir.
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, can you? I am good. How about you?
Yeah,
How
I'm
is
good.
everything?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Everything's good. How is in the Bombay and everywhere?
Yeah, it's still like partially locked down, but things
Okay,
are pretty good now. They're opening
okay.
up, but I think again the lockdown is going to start.
How is it?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
it's,
I don't know when this will
it's
get end
nine.
actually.
Yeah. Everybody's just waiting, nothing else.
True, true.
Yeah, I think it's 9:05 and we are ready to start. Okay. I'd like to welcome each and everyone, and I'd like to thanks Amit for this session. Okay. Mm, like as I said, like we constantly do a lot of uh, community sessions, and this time Amit will be doing an hexagonal architecture with ASP.NET session for all of us. I believe everybody will enjoy the session, and if you have any question, please free to post your question. Okay, we'll try our level best to answer each and every one of your question. Okay, and let's wait for another 1 or 2 minutes, Amit, and then we can start the session. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, sure, Sukesh.
Yeah, because I think on time, nobody will join, right? At
Yeah,
least
sure,
five
sure.
minutes.
Yeah, we'll wait for 5 minutes more.
Yeah, that will be good. Okay, I can see a lot of people joined in. Let's wait for just like 1 more minute and then we can start. Okay. And you can start with introducing yourself and then we can start with the session actually.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
I think Amit sir, we can start. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Um, yeah, you can go and introduce yourself and we can start with the session. Yeah.
Okay, Sukesh. Thank you, Sukesh, and your team for giving this opportunity. Yeah, so myself, Amit Naik, and having 11 years of experience as a full stack developer. My core interest is contributing to open source project and writing a technical blogs and doing giving a seminar and presentation so that it will be helpful for myself and the full the team for the developers. And you can connect me in the LinkedIn, and this is my GitHub page. Here I had shared some of the where you can connect through me. So via the LinkedIn or any from the C Sharp Corner, code projects, and Medium and other stuffs. Okay, so we'll go back to the presentation now. Okay, so today's agenda. So first 5 to 10 minutes we'll discuss what is an architecture pattern and the different type of architecture pattern. Then we'll see what is a design principle. We'll go ahead with the 1 minute or 2 minutes, a single line on what exactly principle. And keeping this design principle in the mind, and we have to develop a project. So it might be any kind of architecture. So any designing or any application. The main purpose we have to think about the design principle. And keeping this design principle, we'll see how hexagonal architecture will be done and so who is the owner who is proposed this architecture and so when it is been introduced and what is an architecture pattern and has there is a different type of architecture pattern, so hexagonal will be suiting in the which type of architecture pattern will go through it. And after 10 minutes of hexagonal architecture pattern, and we'll have a code walkthrough of this project template. Then after that, if the project is more complex project, so in that case, we'll see how we can, keeping this hexagonal, we can build more on the modular monolithic architecture. So also it called as a modular architecture. So with a lot of other features also. Okay. first we'll see what is an architecture pattern. Okay, if you are following the CEO process video, this question point video series, and he already had explained us very nicely about what is the architecture style and architecture pattern and design pattern. And what is a style? So architecture style is exactly where what you want to do. Like for example, if you want to go to implement RESTful services or what kind of services, that is what style. It may be a like get, put, post, and delete. So based on that, and how you are going to implement that in your project, that is a pattern, architecture pattern. Here exactly it comes. What is a MEC like model view controller or MEVM or onion, clean architecture, hexagonal architecture, a lot of microservices architecture. So this all everything comes in the architecture pattern. And after designing block level, so you'll face some of the problems, or you can have some of the issues in your code, keeping again design principle in the point of view, keeping that in mind. So we had to avoid some of the if conditions or some other stuffs like, so then where exactly design pattern will be suited, like if you want to decouple your two layers or some other stuffs, like lot of things like facade or a repository design pattern, unit of work, everything comes in the code level. So if you want to do write the code level, then how you going to solve the problem, that comes in the design patterns. So we'll see a architecture pattern. As I already told, what is an architecture pattern? So it is like a block level, and if you see in the types of architecture pattern, it is divided into multiple types. So the first one, I can say that a layered architecture. So here it comes a clean architecture, onion architecture, or MEC, MEVM, MEP. This all comes in layer. So layer is like, or you can say in the previously, it is also known as the n-tier architecture or n-layer architecture. So this is also known as a n-layer or n-tier also. And if you're talking about clean architecture or onion, so this is built on one layer on top of another layer. Like for example, if you're calling some of the uh, RESTful services like web API. So web API will be calling to the next business logic layer, and business logic layer will be calling to the data access layer, and data access will be called to the domain, and so and so on. This is a layer base, one layer after the another layer, and another to the another layer. This all come to the this kind of layer architecture. And even MEC. So I hope everyone has worked on MEC, so which is Microsoft had launched some around 10 years back from now. So model view controller, and the first hit will come to the model, and then it will go to the first hit will come to the controller, then to the model, and the presentation will be shown in the view. And same thing, like if you want to implement a view model, so then we can have the MVVM and presenter as a MVP. And so this all the layered architecture. Now in these scenarios, like we'll go to the modular architecture. In modular architecture, now somewhere you have to plug and play. So it is not necessary now you are going to implement one project for the web API, and tomorrow the business will come and they'll say that, okay, I need instead of web API, I need something like a gRPC or I need something GraphQL. So this all the types. So you can't change a lot of code behind, right? So you have to change only one layer and everything should work properly. And that exactly where it comes to the model architecture. So model architecture is built on based on the hexagonal. Today we'll see both the things. So far we'll see a demo on we'll try to understand an hexagonal architecture, and we'll go through a simple on the modular also. And later a service-oriented architecture. I think the service-oriented architecture, you people already have aware of that. So like it is one service is talking to another services. It may be web services and other stuff, WCF. So this is a service-oriented architecture. Just a minute. And last but one. The microservices. Microservice, again, you had learned a lot of articles and currently is in the trending actually about microservices, where the full application it divided into small thing. So instead of having full monolithic and if it is small bit and pieces, and it doesn't depend, full the project is not depend on another project. So directly even including the DevOps, the server, and everything's taken care in the only one go. So you can able to see a lot of articles or YouTube videos, and it is in trending. I think you might currently working on the microservices also, like a lot of people. If not, you can go to a lot of videos is available. So we'll see the microservice in the later part, in the last, if there is a time permits, and serverless architecture. And if you're talking about serverless, and the one of the best example, if you're aware of Azure, and Azure function is one of the best example for the serverless. So where bit of pieces of code has been written, and when you publish it, so only that particular only service has been deployed to the Azure server, Azure functions. Again, it is very useful to implement currently in the CI/CD level and all. If you have any questions, you can post in the chat window. So in case if you have any, or if any technical of, if there is any some delay. Okay, so we'll discuss about hardly a short time on what is the design principles. So you people are already aware of solid principle, right? So what is the single responsibility, open and close, LISCO principle, and dependent injection. These all things you are aware of that. But while doing an application, have you using this all the principles like single responsibility? So most of the things, if you see as a code review, if you're going to the code review or some other stuffs, there is a lag on that. Hmm. Or if you has an interview, when asked to the candidate and what is a solid principle, they'll say the definition of that. Yes, for single or for open and with a small examples and all. But have they had used it? The answer will be something. Then the answer will not so proper. And but if you're designing application, we have to think this all the four principle, like solid and Yagni principle. So Yagni is nothing but you aren't gonna need it. So you can have one good definitions in the Google. So I'll give a short definition on that. Yagni. Yagni is like, if it's not required, don't do it. Like for example, if you have a full application and lot of features is available, so it is a, if simple for CRUD operations. If you have a background job and some logging or health check and lot of other stuffs, as an enthusiastic developer will do implement all things. We have to keep in the mind, is that required to your project? If yes, then only implement it. Don't unnecessary implement and make the code mess up. If it is required, then go ahead. And next one, it comes at a KI. Yes, is nothing but so keep it simple. So don't make it complex. Like for example, uh, the wherever the logic, where the business logic can happen in a simple way, and keeping more, if you know a lot of design pattern, and instead of keeping all lot of oops concept and unnecessary making the complex, which is not required. So which is wherever is necessity to implement a design pattern, yes, go ahead. So it is not necessary, I know the design pattern, so I'm going to implement unnecessary. It's not a good, right? So make sure that the code will be simple, keep it simple, so that has we all aware of that in organization. So one developer will go and will be replaced to the other developers, and he should understand easily. So keeping that point of view, so we'll keep as a this design principle will be taken care, KISS, KISS. Uh, Keep it simple. And dry. So dry is nothing but do not repeat. So certain logic. So it is instead of having do not repeat. The definition say itself only. So don't make the code duplicate. So make sure that it will be in the common place and make the dependency injection and just implement the wherever request. So keep it separately and make the code reusable. Okay, so if you have any questions in this part, so please let us know in the chat window. Okay, cool. So I'll go ahead with the next things. The main comes hexagonal architecture. So hexagonal architecture is done by the Alistair. So somewhere during the 2005, and later Jeffrey had done with the onion and the clean architecture, and this is somewhere it's outdated. But now again after the .NET Core has been released, and so again it had where we can plug and play based on the concept, and it is again we can reuse this architecture, hexagonal architecture, very nicely. And so if you're talking about modular, so to build a modular architecture, hexagonal is must. And uh, and also if you had heard about the port and adapter, so this some people also like initially it is also called as a port and adapter. uh, so that will go ahead in the while code walkthrough, I'll just let you know what is a port and what is adapter. And whenever I heard about hexagonal initially first time, I thought there might be a six layers or six kind of input or something layer where we had to do it, but it's nothing like that way. So we'll see the diagram wise, and with the diagram will explain you very it easy to explain for me. And what is the benefit of this? So benefit, the main benefit, you can say that depending like we can have decouple and a lot of stuff will come to the mind. But still, what is the main benefit of an hexagonal architecture is plug and play. So, so when is required the adapter, just you can replace that adapter with other thing. Okay, and database independence and testability. This all the fine. So which is explained the detail in this my article. Hexagonal architecture with ASP.NET Core. Looks like my system is a bit slow now. Okay, so the benefit had given some of the more benefit of hexagonal architecture. This I'll be sharing in the comment section. So in the later part or uh, in the group. So plug and play. So here where exactly we can plug based on the things. Like for example, as initially I told you, the REST adapter can be replaced with the GraphQL or gRPC, and it is easy to has it is decoupled properly, and it is very testable. And so in case if you want to improve the things, then we can enhance it very easily. And we can keep the infrastructure layer in separately, and we can have maintenance. It will be very easy for us, and we can use the database independence. And in the database side also, the provider we can keep on switch between the SQL server to the Oracle, or it may be an in-memory DB or whatever it is. We can go ahead with that. And clean code, so the code will be very clean and so maintainable, and we can have well organized. And so what is the disadvantages you feel like? So you might feel like a lot of so you might feel like it is more complex, like domain will be more hardly in the center, and it is more logic will be available in the domain layer. Just I will open the PPT for now. So the PPT also is available. Just I've seen some of the questions here. First time I hear about this architecture is designed for the web app. Okay, I mean web port and multi. Yes, Naveen, it is best suitable for that, and for the designing the web application part. Yes, and I will tell you about some other architecture also. So where you can have, if it is more getting more complicated, and if you have more features, then I will tell about other application with the code also. It is in my Git repo, so you can have a go through it. You can download and you can go through it. And yes, can you share the link of article? Yes, Rohini, I'll share the article by end of this session or in the comment section. Okay, so we'll go ahead with the each and every layer and how it works with the diagram. So we'll go with this diagram and we'll see how we can go ahead. We can compare this diagram with our code. Okay, first, this is our what you say that hexagonal. So it is nothing but the port and adapter. You can see the six layers. It doesn't mean that so all the six side it will be having some of the adapter or something like that way. It is divided into two types. So that is nothing but initially, as I mentioned, that is port and adapter. So left side is the primary adapter and right side is the secondary adapter. Or also you can say that left port or adapter or right port adapter also. So you can in some of the article you can find that so any of this primary adapter means also same thing or like it is similar the name actually. I'll give an example keeping the mind as a web API. Okay. And we can see in the later part also in the end of the session. I'll share other code also where we can plug and play with the gRPC and other stuffs also GraphQL. Okay, has just you can divide this architecture in the two side. One is left and one is right. One is primary adapter. The primary adapter, so you can see here web API. So for example, this is my startup project, and in startup project, I'm not writing any other logic. It's only for configuring on the startup file and configure services. And now it comes to the adapter, REST adapter. Here is where exactly the controller I'm writing. For example, get, put, post, and delete other stuffs I'm going to write in the adapter here. This can be replaced with the startup project also. So this is plug and play, what I told you. And this adapter, the REST adapter is talking to the domain directly. And this domain is talking to the domain API. What is this domain? So domain is nothing but it's where we write a business logic to that. Okay, now when the user is going to hit to this, is there a scale of pencil here? Yes. Okay, so when user is hitting to this web API, so it will go the request will go to the REST adapter here, and this REST adapter it is hitting to the domain. Domain is where exactly a business logic has been dated. So in my case, I had given a small example of services where we can get call, and this get call with this it will talk to the database adapter. So database adapter where it will try to fetch the data from the for example it's a get. If I'm talking about simple a get and get, it is trying to fetch the data from the DB, and it will return to the domain again back, and based on the so domain API. So what exactly the domain it is? So domain API is nothing but the entity. I'll show in the code. Then the request will come back to the domain layer, and domain to the back to the REST adapter, and rest to the back to the user. So this is what the flow it will go ahead. So hope it's clear. Hope it's clear. So if you have any questions, please let us. You can share in the chat window. And in my example, I also added. This is one of the simple get, and we can get the data from the database. And in my example, I had given an in-memory database. So it is not exactly a database I'm going to create. This only for the demo purpose. Yes, in case just you can switch this data in-memory database. You can unplug this, and you can plug with the SQL Server database, and just to change the query string of the SQL Server, and it will come from the SQL Server thing. Or imagine if you have Oracle or other whatever the database you have, just you can plug the extension of that, put the connection string it, and plug it back to the database adapter, and the things will be fine. To understand more, this is only one flow. And in case if you want to have something kind of a monitoring tool, now that is also one of the important, right? So what is going on, what's happening? So after deploy to the server, and so monitoring is one of the main role will be taken care, because when client is telling that, okay, this is not working, or something, some there is something going failing, if there is fail in your application, how you're going to check that? Are you going to debug everything? No, right? So you have some monitoring screen that is nothing but health check, where you'll open the window and you can keep on watching. So hope it is everything is fine. Then this for I'm using a health check adapter here. And same thing in case if you want to have a email adapter, so you can just plug with the domain layer, and we can based on that just trigger to the email, and the email will be taken care. And if you want to lot of feature, you can go ahead. Now if you want to add some audit trial the domain, so just you can just plug with exactly in the domain layer here. And so you can have auditing, or email, or whatever the stuff is required for you, or even the background job. So everything just you can, it doesn't disturb your code main. We can directly plug with the plug in the exactly in the domain layer, and it will start with the running the project properly. And yes, if you're aware of what is an .NET Core, yes, we had to configure in the initial project, as I told you in the startup project, right? In the startup project, we had to all the configuration file over there. Okay, I'll open the chat window. So if there is any questions, we'll go through it once. Yes, this already have been answered. Yes, I'll share that link to a later part. And to get this hexagonal architecture default code, anyways, yes, yes, Naveen, it is in my article itself only. I had done a small template to it. Yeah, here it is. Just you can download this hexagonal architecture in a Visual Studio, and that's done. So just you can open that, and you can create the application within fraction of 3 to 5 seconds. That's it. We'll see how exactly we can create an application also in the demo right now after this hexagonal architecture. So we'll see if there is any questions answer to that. Okay, Rohini, fine. Yes, why? Looks like there is one more questions. Why it is called hexagonal architecture? Fine. Yes, Rohini, initially, as Alistair was explaining on that, he was trying to explain with the simple like kind of block diagram. Okay, and it was later while doing a presentation, and somehow he was writing one adapter like this way, and to plug in with another adapter. So then while doing a diagram, so he had created a kind of an hexagonal kind of diagram, and he felt okay, so just we can rename this as name as a hexagonal architecture. So he had renamed it as a hexagonal. That doesn't mean that so it is a 6 layers is available or not. There is nothing kind of such scenarios. I will you can go through Alistair YouTube in YouTube channel only. So hexagon with Alistair, and he had explained about very nicely about hexagonal architecture. And he also while showing the demo only had came up with that diagram, and he had given the name as hexagonal. Okay, fine. So we'll go to the next where exactly we can stop this presentation. Discard. Yeah, we'll go to the code walkthrough now. Uh, has Naveen asked initially the template about that? Yes, I created the template. So as soon as you install that template, hexagonal architecture template, we can just create a new project. There is some delay in the screen sharing, so please wait for a while. Fine. So it's open in my machine right now, so I think there is some delay also. There is a drop down called here, so Web API. So just click on the Web API, and you were able to see a hexagonal architecture. So architecture. So I had given this short name as a hexa architecture. Just click on this particular hexagonal architecture, and the next, and you can create any the folder name and the any project name here. Like for example, this demo on hexagonal architecture, and just create it. So as you know, as you create the application, the project will be ready within the fraction of 5 to 10 seconds. And the code for this one you will available in my GitHub repo, and so you can follow repo for the latest features and available. Even I'm trying to implement some Azure API and also to that, so you can have a you can follow it, or you can keep a watch on that, and you can go through it. Currently, it is created only the project template right now. Yes, the project is open in my machine now. So I'll keep this both the application this side by side, this diagram and this application too. I'll open in article itself only because it is very, yes, here it is. It is easy to explain for me. So left side is my the diagram, and right side is the code here. The first, as I initially told you about the initial startup project, as keeping the startup project in the mind, uh, here is the first initial project is available here. So please, if you have any questions, please you can post it in the chat window. Let me check. Okay, so left side is the diagram, and right side is the code here. The first, initially the bootstrap, the initial project where we going to make it a set as a startup project. So I had created the demo architecture. Here the controller, this controller is nothing but the only for health check, the monitoring tool actually. So code is not written anything here, only for to ping, and you can check this application for that purpose only. It is always good practice, right? So it is not necessary you have to ping any of get API, and you have to you have to load your application. So this meta controller is nothing but simple controller. There is no logic behind that. So only to checking purpose, you can ping multiple times to check the status of this application itself only. And so the main, after this main the startup project, the web API. So next had explained about the REST adapter. So here where exactly the REST adapter comes to the, here exactly where I had written the controller part. So here the deal controller, where it is you are writing all the uh, RESTful services. For example, it is a get, put, post, delete, whatever it may be. For now, actually, I written only the two things: a get and the two. One is with parameter and without all the get calls. Okay, let me open the chat window. Okay, why it is called code screen is not visible. Okay, and is showing the PPT. It's fine. Looks like there is some the delay in now. Hope it is fine now. Hope you're able to see the code now. or still you're able to see okay, now it's appeared. Yeah, sorry, there might be some delay, 5 seconds or 10 seconds delay. Sorry for that. So I'll also make it very slowly. Yeah, I am in the I've already opened the REST adapter page here. The REST adapter. So here where exactly we are going to write all the REST controller. For example, get so all the RESTful services, whatever it may be. It is a get or post or delete or update or whatever it may be put. And now this REST adapter you are going to call with the domain. You can see in the diagram. So I had explained about that it is calling to the diagram. Initially I had given with marker actually how the request will go flow from REST adapter to the domain. So same way in the code actually it is calling to this domain. Okay. And in this domain, so here where exactly the domain business logic is written, where it is calling to the uh, um, persistence layer. So it is linked with this persistence layer, right? It is calling to the persistence layer, the database adapter, and it is going to fetch the data. If there is a delay, sorry for that. I'll be sharing this code to you. I'll write in this comment section. You can follow this for now. If it's too delay, yes. And once this domain is called into the persistence layer, so we'll see the persistence layer here, and that is exactly where the persistence layer will be called. It is written a application DB context. So application DB context is nothing but a DB context, which is inherited from the DB context with the entity framework core, where I'm setting with the DB set with the deals. And here, this is what from the domain layer, it is calling to deal and getting the fetching the data. And I had told you in the initial of this session where you want to plug and play, right? So the main the important keeping the mind hexagonal is the plug and play concept. Currently I'm writing the in-memory database, so it is in the my extension file I return the in-memory database, which is called in my startup file in the CS file. And here I'm creating a in-memory database name. Now in case if you want to change this one to a SQL server, then we can just change this data provider with SQL server, keep the connection string here, and the things will be fine. And once this is done, actually, once the configuration and once the data is got from the database or in-memory database, it will go back to the domain. So I'll go back to the domain. Looks like there is some lag actually. Sorry for that. Inconvenience. It will go back to the domain, and this domain will be calling to the domain API. So what is the domain API? Is nothing but actually all mine entity will be written there. So if you're talking about the domain, so there is a three type of domain, right? So one is the entity, one is a service class. So domain is nothing but a class file. Okay, so again you can explain, we can say in the three ways. One is what is that entities, other is you can say a service layer also, or service object we can create, or you can have a value object. So this all the combinations will be written in the domain API. That is nothing but a center in our application. This is nothing but mainly done with the domain driven development based on the things it has been taken care. So here where exactly all the class file will be written, So deal or deal info or whatever it may be. It may be customer or supplier, whatever the class file. And again, the request will go to the domain here, which is the domain of the business logic deal domain. So I return, or else you can say that something like a repository design pattern also you can compare with this one. Or if you want to write some of the business logic, you can write in the business logic here. And once the data is if you're able to, after fetching the data, so it will be written back to the REST adapter here and back to the web API, and it will get the user. It will get to the user. So if you have any questions, please ping in the chat window so that I will able to give an answer to you. Any questions? Fine. Looks like there is no questions. I will go ahead with that. I will start running this application and will check. After the, just you can build and run this application. As you build it, it will due to some lag in the window, so it might be a slowdown. Or you can, if there is a lag, you can go through in the article. So initially had given the step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4. Open the health check window now. So to make sure that everything is proper. Like currently, the health check windows works fine because already connected with the in-memory database. In case if you want to have something, there is a problem with the SQL Server connection string and all, then you can then it will show an error in the health check window itself. Okay, I'll open chat window. If there is any question, we can go through it. Do we write a repository code or a domain logic in the same project in this architecture? No, Kailash. So it has I shown you in the code, you can see there I had given the name as a domain because it is in center. Okay, so domain A, you can see in the diagram there is two things, right? One domain and domain API. The domain API where exactly entity is written, and so domain logic this or repository logic will be written in the domain layer. So is it I'm able to give an answer to you, Kailash, or if there is any questions to you, please let me know. I'll repeat once again. The logic will be written in the domain, and the domain API is nothing but where exactly you are going to write all the entities, and the business logic will be written in the domain layer. There is I split it in two layers actually. Okay, fine. So once the application is running properly, you should able to see a health check monitoring tool where you can see all the status of the your application. So it might be a DB context is proper or not, or something logging file is proper or not. You can see all this in this monitoring tool. Even that also had added to this application. And again, you can plug and play based on the monitoring tool in the startup.cs file. You can go through the code actually. Or if you have any questions, you can connect me in the LinkedIn profile, or you can ping me in the group chat, or you can connect me somehow in other, or you can write in the comment section in the my article itself only. So once everything's fine, so we'll check with the Swagger tool so that if everything is we are able to get the data. Even had added versioning also. So just we'll go ahead with as there is no data in the in-memory database, so we should get only the 200 error without any uh, sorry 200 status code without any error. So we are able to see the 200 status code. It's already open in my machine, but yes, due to some streaming issues, so I think there is some lag in the screen sharing. Okay, so this is what exactly the hexagonal architecture says that. So if you have any questions, please you can ping me in the group chat. Okay, I will go ahead with the next one. So now this is one of the application which I had created in my GitHub repo. So modular architecture. So what exactly the modular is says that, and is it this modular? We can write this modular based on the hexagonal itself. So where again it is a plug and play concept. Uh, it is you can see in this diagram. I had opened the PPT currently. So if you want to talk, if there is a too much of module happens or adapter, whatever you want to say that, like if it's a customer and there is something supplier and some other, there is a inventory module or lot of other module, and this module will be talking one module to another module. So in this kind of scenario, so it will make the project more complex and messed up. So to make it more properly organized, so in that case, we can go ahead with a modular monolithic architecture where instead of talking each other with a module, so let module talk to the only one layer that is nothing mediator, and then you can fetch the data to the based on the particular part. And this is where exactly the modular architecture will come to the pictures. You can say in such scenario like yeah, this is a hexagonal had told about simple application, right? Now the feature is keep on increasing. Now I'll show I had written in the this one in my GitHub repo. So as if there is a delay, I'll in the chat window here. So you can go through that. What are the technology stack section? So there is hexagonal screaming, CQRS. This all the features had added here. Now, in case if you want to add auto member, serial logging, or something like advanced pagination, in-memory caching, API versioning, and MailKit, Hangfire, Mini Profiler. So these all the things it will make the code more complex, right? So to make it more organized, at that time, modular architecture will come to the picture here. And this is nothing also, it is built top of the hexagonal architecture. So there is nothing on that. But if you want to build on a modular, so you should aware of some of the basic of how the hexagonal works, and it will be easy for you to understand that. Okay, so if you can clone this project and you can go through it, the modular. So we can explain in the depth of modular and how we can implement it. So if, it is both a similar itself only, it's not nothing great. But if you are aware of what is how XML is done, actually, you can go through this modular architecture also. And so if you have any questions, you can ping in the chat window. So is there any questions? Please let me know. Okay, looks like it's fine now. So I think had completed so all the sessions. this about the agenda. So if any questions, please let me know, or we can. It's a good time to close it else. Okay, looks like there is no questions. Hello, Sukesh.
Yeah. Yeah, hello, it's Dipesh.
Yeah, Dipesh. Yeah.
So I think everything is done. Thank you,